trust, we have the EI.
Oh, okay. Yes. So what I
Well,
was, so I
okay.
was just giving it an example, saying that we are, that you have subsidiaries, right? So of your actual business, your holding company is owning an LLC. So the LLC is the subsidiary of the holding company. That was just an example.
Oh, okay. So if because I don't have an LLC, so I was thinking I can use this business trust like as my business.
That is
Correct.
correct.
Okay.
That is correct. Yeah, you're going to use your business trust as your actual business. Yeah. So it's not, it's not a holding company. So it is going to be just an actual business. Yeah. So I am going to open the floor for questions. We are all done. So so far what we've done today is we have done our EIN for our business trust. We have also done the board meetings for all three of our trusts, our business trust, our private family trust, and our ministry trust. And then we have went through a trust corporate credit, and we have established an application for us to be able to build that corporate credit by getting a DUNS number. So right now we have to wait anywhere between 2 to 30 days to receive our DUNS number. Once we receive our DUNS number via email, then we can start applying for additional trade lines so that we can generate that PAYDEX score. Our goal is to generate a PAYDEX score of at least 80. And so our goal is to at least apply for 5 trade lines that's going to be reflecting on our business credit so that we're able to generate that score. I've seen it to where you can generate scores early as 30 days. So if you're intentional about building business credit in order to leverage it so that you can use it for investment purposes, then you want to do what we've done today, which is get your DUNS number, apply for various trade lines, and wait, at least 30 to 45 days in order to establish that PAYDEX score. So I am going to open up the floor for questions. I know that we have a few questions here. I do apologize for going fast. So if we need to go over anything again, please let me know.
Yes.
All
What
right.
was the SIC code?
Okay, so the SIC code, hold on, let me go grab it. The SIC code is 551114. And that is the SIC code that we use for a holding company, and our business trust is going to be considered a holding company.
I'm gonna repeat it back. 551113 3 1s and then the number 4.
That is correct, Miss Annette.
Okay.
Yes.
And then hit submit.
Submit. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you in business, lady. All right. And then I know Miss Karen, I'm so sorry. You were saying that you're going to use it for your business. So your SIC code might be another, it might be different. So if you are going to be like in retail, then you might want to use one for retail. If you're going to be in trucking, you might want to use one for trucking. If you're going to be in real estate, you might want to use one for real estate. So depending on the type of business that you're going to be operating with your business trust, if it's not going to be a holding company, then you want to use the appropriate SIC code for the business that you're going to be operating with that entity.
Okay, and I can go back and change that, correct?
Yep, you can. Absolutely. Yeah, you can change anything in your profile, which is lovely.
Great, thank you.
You're so welcome. All right. Do I have any other questions? I know we went through a lot today.
Yes, Christina, here's Patricia.
Hi, Patricia.
Can you take your ministry and put that ministry business on this Dun & Brad platform? Is that advisable?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. You can
Okay.
You can build business credit with any one of your trusts. I don't advise that you build business credit with your private family trust because you have to understand that you're pulling your private contract into the public by building business credit, right? Because now you're dealing with commerce, you're dealing with all this stuff. So, and now you're going to be, on the public records when it's dealing with this particular entity. So just choose one of them that you want to build business credit with. If it's the business trust, then you can choose that one. If it's the ministry, you can choose that one. So I have clients that they choose the ministry, and then I have other clients that choose the business trust. So it's up to you which entity you want to use to do this strategy.
Okay, thanks.
You're so welcome. Hi, Scott.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good, good. How are you?
Good. I just had a few questions with the trade lines. Is that like a physical card or is it just like a loan sent to like the business trust bank account that you're responsible for paying back? Like, how do you get started like building those?
Yeah, so the trade lines are just accounts. So they're just accounts with these companies. So that's why they're called like a net 30 account, a net 15 account. So it's just like, for example, let's just say that you were shopping at Walmart and Walmart said, hey, you can spend $2,000, but they don't physically give you a card, with the balance and all this other stuff. So you would just go up there and say, okay, take it off my account. And so you have an account number with them, and then they would bill you. And so you'll get a bill in the mail, and then you would have to pay them back within 30 days.
Okay, sweet. And then with like the bank account and like credit cards attached to my social security number, what do I do with the funds in my personal account? Do I transfer them over to the trust or do I start from zero with the trust and then have like whenever I get paid, have that go strictly to the trust and dissolve like accounts attached to my social security number?
Yeah, so you can start operating solely with the trust, and you don't have to, have any, you don't have to have a personal account and use your, personal name and social. So what you would do is you're going to issue a loan. So whatever is in your account, let's just say you got 10,000 in your account right now today, and you went, and opened up the trust bank account. So what you're going to do is you're going to transfer those funds. So you could do a wire transfer, Zelle, you can, take out the money, withdraw, deposit. But you're going to transfer the money into the trust bank account, and you're going to execute a promissory note. And so with the promissory notes, the trust is promising to pay you back the 10,000 plus interest. And so that's just the documentation that you are putting money into the account, into the trust account. The trust has to pay you back. It's just a paper trail. And then at that point in time, the money is going to go into the trust account. And when you need to use money personally that has nothing to do with the trust, then you can just borrow and take out loans from the trust. So that's how it works, so that you could keep a record of the money movement.
Okay. So I have the business trust, and when I need like to pay personal expenses, I borrow from the business trust. And then anything left over in the business trust, I write off as a donation to the faith-based trust. And from the money there, where does that just, I invest it, or do I put it into like the life insurance policy or?
So primarily the way that we flow money is like you said, the money is in the business trust. And so the beneficiary of the business trust, we make it our private family trust. And so then we're easily able to do a distribution or disbursement to the, to the beneficiary without triggering a taxable event. So the money that's in the business trust, you can do your expenses if you have business expenses, and then whatever's left over, you can disperse it to the private family trust. And then at that point, you can do personal expenses there as well, whatever's dealing with the family. So you had asked about life insurance, right? That is where you're going to flow in all your money to the life insurance policy. So the private family trust is going to own your policies and any other policies that you have on any other co-trustees or beneficiaries. And so the money is going to come from the business trust, it's going to flow into the private family trust, and that's where you're going to pay any bills for any assets. So if you have a primary residence in there, then all of that money is going to come from the private family bank account. So that insurance policy, like we were talking about, that money's going to flow into the insurance policy, and then you're going to borrow it back out. It'll just sit in the trust bank account. And then at that point, you're going to write off whatever you need to write off. And from there, whatever's left over, you will donate it to the ministry trust. And so once the money gets to the ministry trust, then you can invest it. Or you can borrow it back out. So whatever you want to do with it. So you would allocate it to whatever charitable organizations that you're working with, and then you can invest it in, crypto, stocks, real estate, whatever investments you want to do. If you want to do investments, if not, then you can borrow it back out, or you can have another entity render a service to the ministry and 1099 that entity. So those are the ways that you can, move money effectively throughout the trust.
Okay. Then last one. So, and this might just be covered tomorrow with building, being your own bank and stuff with the life insurance, but is it kind of like that, like an IRA, like where like you can put money into it and then the money you put in, like you can invest it from within the life? Okay.
Yeah, it is. But so it's not like they give you access to the whole market. So they'll give you access to like 5 things that you can choose from, and they're all tied to indexes. So if we're specifically talking about an index universal life insurance policy, so like they'll give you like the S&P 500, they'll give you some other ones too, but usually from what I've seen, they'll give you a list of like 4 or 5, and you can choose whichever one you want to go
Like
with.
the safer ones. And so like if you wanted to do like more volatile, like crypto or like individual stocks and like individual companies, you'd have to do that through the ministry trust.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
You're so welcome, Scott. Al?
Hey, so I had a question. It was more about the family trust, but so if I have some kids and I have a custodial brokerage for them, I can put that in the family trust, but how would I make sure that they get access to it at a certain age, like they turn 18? What I
Yeah,
do?
so you have a UTMA account for your kids, right?
Right, correct.
Okay, good. Me too. So the UTMA account has an owner. And so
Mhm.
right now, the parents or the guardians are the owner. So we can change the ownership to the trust. So now the trust will own the UTMA accounts. When you are setting up the UTMA accounts, and I don't know if you can do it after you set it up, but you put the age that you want them to be able to access the UTMA account. So even though the trust is owning the account right now, and the trust is managing the investments for the UTMA, the way that account is designed, it's designed for it to eventually go from the custodian to the child or the person it's intended for. And so all you have to do is just document it. You can either document it inside of your trust, where we had talked about like the distributions and stuff in that section. You can put that the UTMA accounts will go, you know, that the trust will that the trust will set up UTMA accounts for the beneficiaries, and that when the beneficiaries reach a certain age, let's just say 25, because I think that's what I chose for my children, but I'm not sure. Maybe I did 21. So I have too many kids. No, I'm kidding. So with that, you can put what that the account will transfer to the to the actual beneficiary.
Sure.
So
Okay.
yeah, you can put it within the trust, but then when you're setting it up with the brokerage, it's already intended to be set up that way to where it's gonna, the ownership is gonna transfer to them at that age.
Okay. And then I have an IUL for the kids as well. So I would transfer the ownership of that over to the family trust as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So with the kids IUL, you're just going to contact your carrier, and then you're going to tell them that you want to change the ownership and the beneficiary of those policies. So what they're going to do is they're going to make you do an application, like a transfer form per policy. Okay. And then you'll have that done so that when so that the trust, the family trust is the beneficiary and the owner.
Oh,
So
okay. So so it'll be the owner and the beneficiary, and then I can document in the trust basically saying how the funds should be dispersed to the
yeah,
children. Okay.
yeah. You can do any restrictions or how you want it to be dispersed. Do you want your kids to take over their own policy when they're older, or do you want the policy to remain in the trust?
I would want to remain in the trust and probably just be paid
Yeah.
from
That sounds great.
the
Yeah.
trust. So,
Yeah. That sounds good.
okay.
Yeah. Thinking like a trustee.
Right.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, Christina, how are you?
I'm good, Tina. How are you? Nice to see you again.
Oh, thank you. You too as well. When it comes to considering the privacy of the trust and we decide to order supplies or have them delivered, you know, from the certain vendors, will there be an issue if we have it delivered to our private home? Or should we use an alternative site for delivery of supplies, whether it's, I guess, like, for instance, the iPostal, where they're located, or just use the PO boxes, or is it okay just to use the home address?
Oh, yeah. So no, whenever you're doing anything for the trust, you want to use the trust address. So if the address of your trust is the virtual address, then you want to use the virtual address. So it is actually going to go to the virtual address, and then they're going to forward the package to you. So that means that your privacy, you know, is not out there publicly. And obviously iPostal, they obviously know because they have to forward the items to you, but it's not, you know, it's not out there with the trade lines, and it's not out there with the bureaus and stuff. So they are going to receive your package and forward it to whatever forwarding address you choose.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Tina. Carl?
Yeah, the other day we asked a question about some states were republics and some were not. And you were going to look into that?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, so I did look into it, and almost all 50 states have a common law system. The only state that doesn't is Louisiana. They have a civic law system. So the question was about operating the entity in common law and using, you know, the word republic or not republic. So I think it was specifically for Washington. So Washington does have a common law system. So that's what I was looking into.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Patricia?
Christina, if there was a grantor chosen and that needs to be changed, how would you go about doing that, or can it be done?
So has the trust been executed already?
No,
It has not?
no.
Okay, then wherever the previous grantor's name is, you would delete it and put the new grantor's name.
Good deal. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions? Any questions? Let's see here. All right, guys. So it is 9:07. I do want to be respectful of your time. So we are going to wrap it up. And today was a great day. We applied for our second EIN. We did a board meeting and we learned about trust credit, and we established a Dun & Bradstreet profile and applied for our DUNS number. So my homework for you guys is I want to know what bank account are you guys going to, or what bank are you guys going to choose in order to open up your trust account? Okay, I'm curious to know what banks you choose. I have a lot of clients, they choose Chase, TD, Truist, credit unions, all this stuff. And so we were doing board meetings that were specifically talking about the banks that we intend on using, since we have the essentials, right? The essentials are, we have our trust that's legalized. We have our EINs or 9-digit numbers. We have our board meeting saying that we were actually going to open up our bank account. So now post in the Facebook group and let us know which bank that you guys did your research, your due diligence, and decided to bank with for your trust. And you can open up, you know, an account for each of your trusts with the same bank. So if you, let's just say you chose TD Bank, then you can open up all 3 of those trust accounts with TD Bank. And then the last thing is to review the asset inventory list. So you did receive the asset inventory list, and that is a good way for you to find out, one, what assets that you actually possess that are actually considered assets, and is going to put you in a position to where you are familiar and you have narrowed it down to what you're going to transfer into the trust. So tomorrow we are going to be doing asset transfer, and then we're going to touch on infinite banking. And so we're going to go over various different assets that we can transfer into the trust. So we're going to do quick claim deeds. So have that information ready if you guys are wanting to quick claim deed your properties over into the trust. We're going to go over business purchase agreements if you guys are switching over LLCs and corporations. And then we're going to go over bill of sales for your vehicles, and if you have other you know, equipments and stuff like that. So that's what we're going over tomorrow. So do your asset inventory list so that you guys are prepared and know what you need assistance with as far as what assets you're going to transfer into the trust, because we're going to be going over several different assets, including the insurance policies. Okay, so that is it for tonight. And I will see you guys tomorrow here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will receive an email from Aya. So you'll receive 2 emails, one, the recording for tonight, and then the resources for tomorrow, because we're going to be doing several different, you know, types of transfers of assets. So there's several different templates we will be working with tomorrow. So you will be receiving those resources as well. If you are not receiving the emails, can you please send me a text? I know Patricia said she didn't receive the email, and I think there was someone else. So if you're not, just send me a text to the number, and I will double check the list and have you added on there. So everyone have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow on Zoom here at 7 p.m. Eastern